Cliff House, North Pole, December 24th, 1939. My dear Priscilla, I am glad you managed to send me 2 letters. Although you have been rather busy working, I hope your Bingo family will have a jolly Christmas and behave themselves. Tell Billy, is not that the father's name? Not to be so cross. They are not to quarrel over the crackers I am sending. I am very busy, and things are very difficult this year, owing to this horrible war. Many of my messengers have never come back. I haven't been able to do you a very nice picture this year. It is supposed to show me carrying things down our new path to the sleigh sheds. Paxu's in front of a torch, looking most frightfully pleased with himself, as usual. There is just a glimpse, quite enough, a polar bear strolling along behind. He is, of course, carrying nothing. There have been no adventures here, and nothing funny has happened, and that is because Polar Bear has done hardly anything to help, as he calls it, this year. Rot! I don't think he has been lazier than usual, but he has not been at all well. He ate some fish that disagreed with him last November, and was afraid he might have to go to hospital in Greenland. But after living only on warm water for a fortnight, he suddenly threw the glass and jug out of the window and decided to get better. He drew the trees in the picture, and I am afraid they are not very good. Best part of it, they look more like umbrellas. Still, he sends love to you and all your bears. Why don't you have polar cubs instead of bingos and koalas, he says. Why not? Give my love to Christopher and Michael and to John when you next write. Love from Father Christmas. December 23rd, 1940. Dear Priscilla, glad to find you are back. Message came on Saturday that your house was empty. Was afraid you had gone without leaving any address. We're having a very difficult time this year, but are doing our best. Thank you for explaining about your room. Father Christmas sends love. Please excuse blots. Rather busy. Yours, Polar Bear. Cliff House, near North Pole, Christmas Eve, 1940. My dearest Priscilla, just a short letter to wish you a very happy Christmas. Please give my love to Christopher. We are having rather a difficult time this year. This horrible war is reducing all our stocks. And in so many countries, children are living far from their homes. Polar Bear has had a very busy time trying to get our address lists corrected. I am glad you are still at home. I wonder what you will think of my picture. Penguins don't live at the North Pole, you will say. I know they don't. But we have got some all the same, what you would call evacuees, I believe. Not a very nice word, except that they did not come here to escape the war, but to find it. They had heard such stories of the happenings up in the north, including a quite untrue story that Polar Bear and all the polar cubs had been blown up, and that I had been captured by goblins. That they swam all the way here to see if they could help me. Nearly 50 arrived. The pictures of Polar Bear dancing with their chiefs. They amuse us enormously. They don't really help much, but are always playing funny, dancing games and trying to imitate the walk of Polar Bear and the cubs. Very much love from your old friend, Father Christmas. Cliff House, near stump of North Pole, December 22nd, 1941. My dearest Priscilla, I am so glad you did not forget to write to me again this year. The number of children who keep up with me seems to be getting smaller. I expect it is because of this horrible war, and that when it is over, things will improve again, and I shall be as busy as ever. But at present, so terribly, many people have lost their homes or have left them. Half the world seems in the wrong place. And even up here, we've been having troubles. I don't mean only of my stores. Of course they are getting low. They are already last year, and I have not been able to fill them up, so that I have now to send what I can instead of what is asked for. But worse than that has happened. I expect you remember it some years ago we had trouble with the goblins, and we thought we had settled it. Well, it broke out again this autumn. Worse than that it has been for centuries. We have had several battles, and for a while my house was besieged. In November it began to look likely that it would be captured and all my goods and that Christmas stockings would all remain empty all over the world. Would not that have been a calamity? It has not happened, and it is largely due to the efforts of Polar Bear. And B, that's me! But it was not until the beginning of this month that I was able to send out any messengers. I expect the goblins thought there was so much war going on, this was a fine chance to recapture the North. They must have been preparing for some years, and they made a huge new tunnel which had an outlet many miles away. It was early in October that they suddenly came out in thousands. Polar Bear says there were at least 1,000,000, but that is his favorite big number. There were at least 100,000,000. Anyway, he was still fast asleep at the time, and I was rather drowsy myself. The weather was rather warm for the time of year, and Christmas seemed far away. There were only 1 or 2 elves about the place, and of course Paxu and Veltuka, also fast asleep. The penguins had all gone away in the spring. Luckily, goblins cannot help yelling and beating on drums when they mean to fight. So we all woke up in time and got the gates and doors barred and the windows shuttered. Polar Bear got on the roof and fired rockets into the goblin hosts as they poured up the long reindeer drive. But that did not stop them for long. We were soon surrounded. I have not time to tell you all the story. I had to blow 3 blasts on the great horn, Windbeam. It hangs over the fireplace in the hall, and if I have not told you about it before, it is because I have not had to blow it for over 400 years. Its sound carries as far as the north wind blows. All the same, it was 3 whole days before help came, snow boys, polar bears, and hundreds of elves. They came up behind the goblins, and Polar Bear, really awake this time, rushed out with a blazing branch off the fire in each paw. He must have killed dozens of goblins. He says 1,000,000. But there was a big battle down on the plain near the North Pole in November, in which the goblins brought hundreds of new companies out of their tunnels. We were driven back to the cliff, and it was not until Polar Bear and a party of his younger relatives crept out by night and blew up the entrance to the new tunnels with nearly 100 pounds of gunpowder, and we got the better of them. For the present. But bang went all the stuff for making fireworks and crackers. The cracking part for some years. The North Pole cracked and fell over for the second time, and we have not yet had time to mend it. Polar Bear is rather a hero. I hope he does not think so himself. I do. But of course, he is very magical. And B. And goblins can't do much to him. When he is awake and angry, I have seen their arrows bouncing off him and breaking. Well, that will give you some idea of events, and you will understand why I have not had time to draw a picture this year. Rather a pity, because there have been such exciting things to draw, and why I have not been able to collect the usual things for you, or even the very few that you asked for. I am told that nearly all the Allison Utley books have been burnt, and I cannot find one of moldy warp. I must try and get one for the next time. I am sending you a few other books, which I hope you will like. There is not a great deal else, but I will send you very much love. I like to hear about your bear, Bingo, but really I think he is too old and important to hang up stockings. But Polar Bear seems to feel that any kind of bear is a relation, and he said to me, "Leave it to me, old man." That, I am afraid, is what he often calls me. I will pack a perfectly beautiful selection for his Poliness, yes, Poliness, so I shall try and bring the beautiful selection along. What it is, I don't know. Very much love from your old friend, Father Christmas and Polar Bear.